The stories of Africans have been told by others for a very long time. But today, AfriTrivia has emerged to tell African stories by Africans themselves, to Africans, and to the globe generally. Ladies and gentlemen, learn about the history, the culture, the people, and the geography of Africa, and a lot more by playing AfriTrivia. On today's edition of the program, John Essin, the founder and CEO of Justin Games and AfriTrivia, is joining us on set Managing Africa. And to get to know more about the founder, I propose you watch this video, and we'll be right back.
We are excited to share the compelling story behind AfriTrivia, an educational board game that celebrates the rich history and vibrant cultures of the African continent. This innovative game is the brainchild of Dr. John Essin, whose personal journey and experiences have shaped its very foundation. The journey of AfriTrivia began with Dr. Essin's unique upbringing. Born in the United States, but raised in both Nigeria and North America, he gained first-hand exposure to the incredible diversity and richness of the African continent alongside the opportunities and perspectives of the West. This dual heritage instilled in him a deep appreciation for both worlds and sparked an early awareness of the importance of cultural understanding, a value deeply instilled by his parents who emphasized education and cultural appreciation. Dr. Essin's time as a student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology was a period of significant growth and engagement. He served as president of the MIT African Students Association during a powerful and pivotal time, the height of the anti-apartheid movement on college campuses. This active involvement underscored the urgent need for greater understanding and awareness of the complexities and struggles facing the African continent. Through his leadership in the African Students Association and his participation in the anti-apartheid movement, Dr. Essin became acutely aware of the often limited and sometimes negative portrayals of Africa in mainstream discourse. While the political struggles were critical, he recognized a significant lack of accessible and engaging resources for learning about the broader history, cultures, and achievements of the African continent beyond these narratives. The energy and passion of this period fueled a deep desire within him to share the incredible richness and diversity that Africa holds. It was during this period of activism and heightened awareness that the concept of AfriTrivia began to take shape in Dr. Essin's mind. He envisioned a game that could serve as a positive and engaging educational tool, a way to move beyond headlines and introduce people to the incredible depth and breadth of African cultures and histories. The goal was to create a fun and accessible way to learn about the continent's people, arts, culture, government, history, sports, entertainment, and the wisdom captured in its notable quotations. AfriTrivia is thoughtfully structured around key categories designed to provide a comprehensive yet engaging learning experience. Players encounter questions that delve into the lives of remarkable individuals, explore the beauty of African art and music, examine pivotal moments in history, and celebrates the continent's achievements in sports and entertainment. Even the quotations included in the game offer valuable insights into African thought and philosophy. Since its launch, AfriTrivia, under Dr. Essin's leadership, has been met with enthusiastic reception. Educators have recognized its potential as a valuable tool for enriching their curriculum, while students and individuals of all ages have enjoyed the engaging and informative gameplay. Notably, many users report that AfriTrivia not only increases their knowledge, but also fosters a deep sense of pride and connection to African heritage. The creation of AfriTrivia marked a significant step in Dr. Essin's journey, leading to the founding of Justin Games, His vision extends beyond this initial success. He is committed to developing a range of innovative educational resources that leverage the power of play to make learning more engaging and accessible for everyone. Jessin Games is actively exploring opportunities to expand AfriTrivia's reach through digital platforms and mobile applications, and there are exciting plans to partner with schools and organizations to integrate the game into educational programs. Ultimately, Dr. Essen's goal is to contribute to a world where the rich tapestry of African cultures and histories is widely understood and celebrated. AfriTrivia stands as a testament to the importance of honoring and sharing diverse narratives, a mission that was first ignited during his impactful involvement in the anti-apartheid movement at MIT. Through Jessin Games, he is working to ensure that the rich heritage of African people is recognized and celebrated globally.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Together, let's discover the wonders of AfriTrivia, where learning is blended with fun. Today's edition of the program is coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria. And on this edition of Managing Africa, we are joined by John Essen. It's a pleasure to have you on board Managing Africa today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great.
Well. It's been a great experience.
Around Africa, I mean, what's the feeling of you traveling all the way, and how's it been so far?
Feeling is great. I mean, I cannot put it, into words. It's been a wonderful experience. Everyone has added value to what we're doing, and it's raised us up to a level that we could not even put together in words.
So we've seen everything that you're doing as far as Jessin Games is concerned, and as far as AfriTrivia, which is what has brought us here today. Please give us a background. What is AfriTrivia all about, and what motivated you to come up with an initiative like this one?
Wow, that's a loaded question, but I will start by saying, in your introduction, you said, Jessin Games is where learning meets fun. Yes. So right from the onset, our goal was to be able to make learning an exciting medium where AfriTrivia will be, the base that pretty much puts our theme together, which is learning about Africa. And if you've seen the game, you'll easily notice that, we have 6 categories. And the categories basically revolve all around the continent. And those 6 categories are people and places, sports and entertainment, government and politics, arts and culture, history and quotations by all our, all the father figures, the historically, people that helped in creating, the history of, where we are today, all the change makers. So the whole idea is to learn and enjoy learning. And if someone plays the game and basically walks away feeling that, they learned something new, or the game took them back many years, that's what we're looking for.
Great, amazing. Yeah. So let's talk about what has motivated you to come up with this initiative of AfriTrivia.
Okay.
When was that
a
hard time for you?
Well, let's put it this way. I grew up in the generation, or at least my college days, I was very much involved as a student in the student body, where I was the president of African Students Association at MIT. And that was just the beginning. My background is in medicine. I'm a physician.
Yes.
But if I didn't study medicine, I probably would have been with political science or African history.
Okay.
I had good mentors. My parents, even though my parents are both Nigerian and I was born in the U.S., there was always a strong presence as to who you are and where you're from. I started learning and hearing about just the beautiful continent, Africa, at a very early age. And I soon realized that the books I was reading and everything that was narrated to me, majority of them if you go back 100 years ago, were not written by Africans. If you go back 50 years ago, Africa was just like a country to a lot of people, not a continent. Today we're talking about the Going Back to Africa movement. Our goal is going to be 10, 20 years from now, we would be the ones that would be narrating and writing the history of Africa. So that's where we are.
Great. Now, let's look at AfriTrivia itself. What do you think? I mean, it's very clear, but what would you say is the contribution of AfriTrivia to the societal development of Africa?
Well, AfriTrivia plays a major role in making people, first of all, okay, it is a link or a bridge to every African out there, Africans in diaspora and non-Africans. It tells our story. We have more similarities, you know, amongst ourselves within the continents than we even realize. You look at the culture, the history, the movements in the past. It ties it in together. I mean, I could meet someone from Uganda and not even know that I have so much in common with someone from the eastern part of Africa or someone from the southern part of Africa. It's educational, it's entertaining, and with that being the foundation, so many good things can come out of that.
Great. About AfriTrivia, by the way, the name Afri and Trivia, what would you explain? I mean, how did you come up with that name?
Okay. Well, first of all, probably the most, as a child growing up, like most kids in Africa, my favorite game, dare I say, was Monopoly.
Okay.
Okay. And when I got into, say, high school level or college level, my favorite game was Trivial Pursuit. Okay. So now, it didn't take much for me to say or come up with the idea of designing something educational within the African context. Trivia, and of course my favorite game as a child, which was Monopoly. So merging both together and just focusing on the continent was a win-win for me. And as in college, everybody knows, the school I went to, MIT, it's an engineering tech science school. And there was a requirement that you had to do, I believe it was 4 humanities related, courses. And mine was all on African studies. I think I read almost every book in our library. And also being a pre-med, I needed something to balance my life, and that was it. And I learned more about the continent at that phase of my life.
How are you a doctor and now a game developer? How do we link this up? What is your story?
I think you're digging a little too deep. Well, put it this way.
Okay.
Before I went into medicine, I was a child. As every child growing up, especially a child with African parents, they tell you what you're going to be from day one. So being an obedient child, I listened to my parents, but I also listened to my personal instincts. Amazing. My personal instincts was just the environment, who I am, what I wanted to be, and what I wanted out of life. So while I concentrated and believed in what they knew or felt that I needed to do, I fell in love with medicine. Some may say that they both are conflicting desires, because I also love the art world. I love history, I love people. But, I think I've done a pretty good job in being able to have both coexist without being a conflict of each other.
Now, about AfriTrivia, I would like us to look at what its contribution is to the gaming sector in Africa. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, put it this way. Until I delved into this space, I really didn't know about the business sector the business sector within the continent as far as gaming is concerned. Most people don't. Yes. But this is the fact. The African gaming industry in 2024 generated $1.8 billion. That's the digital gaming. $1.8
billion
US dollars. And guess what? We are the end users. Okay? We are not the developers. We are not the financial institutions that is, on the receiving end. We are the game users. And what does that mean? Telecommunication plays a big role. The gaming industry basically has, mostly a relationship or contracts with the telecom units. It's not unusual to see someone sitting on their tablet or their phone playing a game. Yes. Okay, they're not taking money out of their pocket to pay for it, but they do not realize that that data on that, telecom unit or phone is actually already paying for the game that they're playing. So that's the business side of it. We were not looking at the business side, but it's an important area for us to pay attention to.
Great. So your initiative or the idea of AfriTrivia is not exactly to make money, but to contribute.
To contribute, yes.
To
contribute, yes. The exciting part of it for me is reading about something unusual, finding out about, the quotations by people like, the president of, say, Cameroon back in the, early Independence Day, Ahmadu Ahidjo, General Yakubu Gowon, and people like Haile Selassie and Kwame Nkrumah, just the power that existed within that time and, the wisdom, okay, and the foundation that they built for us, our history. Those were the exciting things for me to learn about. And looking at the next generation, the tech-savvy generation, the kids, our children, where they are heading, we have to hand something to them. And I am more focused on trying to do my part in, it may be gaming, it may be, any other medium for anyone else out there, but we have to contribute.
How do you think that educational establishments can make use of this idea? Not just educational establishments, how should the population generally of Africa and globally make use of this initiative of AfriTrivia?
Well, currently we are in discussion with with academic institutions as to how we can add value with what we have to offer, with AfriTrivia, curriculum-wise, or just basically introducing it into schools or having game days as being part of it. Or, you think about it, this is just the beginning. Very soon we're rolling out the digital part. With the digital part, you could be in Douala and play AfriTrivia with someone in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, or, Valhalla, New York, or London. That's where we're going. The reach is, boundless. Yeah.
Right. And, I was going to talk about the future prospects, the projects that you have coming up for AfriTrivia. You want to?
Sure. We are maybe letting the cat out of the bag here. We're also talking, about a game show. We, as you asked earlier about, the educational part, with, in the process of discussing competitions between academic institutions Okay, can you imagine, you know, a school in Nigeria having, you know, a brain quest on Africa with a school in, you know, Nigeria or Cameroon or Ghana or Algeria? At the end of the day, it's not about who's going to win. It's going to be how much did we learn by, you know, competing and having fun. It's for families, it's for friends, and it's for making, you know, turning schools into that academic hub where the concepts or just knowledge of Africa would be part of their education.
And speaking of that, is AfriTrivia open to partnership opportunities, you know, for the public?
We are currently in discussion with distributorships. And that's a discussion that's actively going on. And with that comes, of course, partnering. We are open. We are open. It's the beginning. AfriTrivia is just the first one that we're pushing out. But I'll tell you, in September, we have 2 more educational games coming.
Great. You heard that, actually, right?
Yeah.
Now, Doc,
you know, a lot.
Yes. Great. Now, Doc, you know, there is nothing good comes very easy. So on that, I want to believe that you must have gone through some challenging times coming up with an initiative as amazing as this one. Tell us about some of the challenges you've come across.
Well, challenge-wise, actually, my disclosure, I'm in medicine, okay? I happen to be the chief, you know, the medical director for departments, you know, in a hospital which is considered the largest medical center in the United States. With that comes certain responsibilities.
Exactly.
You know, there's certain decorums. And here I am.
Working on something else as well.
Very, very passionate about a particular area, a particular topic, which is Africa, which is gaming, which is education within that space. So the challenge for me was always to be able to thread through both and not allow both to become a conflict. They may be conflicting desires, they may be, but my challenge was to prevent it from becoming a conflict. And there's so many details, but that was my daily challenge. I mean, when I'm at work doing or taking care of people, that's what I do. That's what I know how to do. When I am in the gaming room, that's who I am. So I just had to be aware of that, and I've had to be aware of that pretty much all my life.
Right.
So.
Dear viewers, you just heard it from the horse's mouth. Our guest is very passionate about what he does, and that explains why, even with his very busy schedule, I'll put it that way, he still creates time to make sure that Africa is not losing focus. So what are you doing? You have to be a part of this project. So, Doc, about AfriTrivia, the educational establishments that are interested in working with AfriTrivia, given its high value that it gives, how can they reach out to you? And how can they collaborate?
Thanks for asking. As a matter of fact, I have a meeting with the Ministry of Education, and they are talking about getting AfriTrivia into schools here in Lagos. The easiest way to reach us, I would say, basically is either you could go to our sites, website, www.jessongames.com, and shoot an email to us, and we will circle back, we will contact you and just take the process, move it from there. It's relatively straightforward, everything is streamlined, and we will basically bridge every gap that we need to do to make it a reality.
Please tell us, Mr. John, what do you have to say to the African community watching you right now, to everybody globally? What do you have? What is that word you have for them before we take up?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me. I would like to invite everyone to our website. There's a lot of information. You will find out a lot of what we are doing and who we are. This is something that we believe in, and we know that it would definitely add value, and that's why we are doing it.
Okay, televiewers, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Thank you so much for being a part of this program today. It has been a blessing having you on Managing Africa.
Thank you. Pleasure is mine.
Great. So, of course, televiewers, with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Managing Africa. Thanks indeed for the copious privilege of your time, and continue to keep it here on Dash Television, because we have more interesting programs coming up for your viewing pleasure. Have a lovely day, stay safe, and bye-bye.